As some of us are aware, bidding on online auctions is always a gamble. Not only are you attempting to win whatever you're bidding on, but at the same time you have to hope that someone else isn't willing to pay more than you are. However, online auctions can also be a gamble in regards to whether or not you actually receive the item that you've won. Recently, I've found myself in one such situation with the auctioneer, Mishler Auction Services. So to give a little backstory to this recent consumer affairs topic, back during the final week of March this year, I found out from a friend of mine that the local hobby shop in my area was going out of business. This was a retailer which I've gone to since my childhood, and in the 18 years of doing business there, purchased a lot of model railroading equipment and other hobby supplies. However, after several negative experiences with this retailer over the last year due to their own negligence, I honestly had no intention of ever doing business there again. Unfortunately, when I found out the hobby shop owner had brought in an auctioneer to sell off the remaining inventory, the chance of snagging a bargain was just too tempting for me not to take a look. I decided to go online and see if there would be anything I might want to purchase. There were a couple small items I was interested in bidding on, however almost everything went out of my price range. One item, a custom replica of a Pennsylvania State Police car, I managed to snatch up for a winning bid of $44. This seemed like a really good deal considering the price of this car was hundreds of dollars in the shop, and I'd actually had my eye on it for years, but didn't see it as something I really needed. On March 31st, I received an email from the auctioneer which included my invoice for the item I had won, and also details in regards to picking up the item and/or having it shipped to me. Since the item was small and I really didn't want to make the 30-minute drive to DuBois just for that one thing, I decided to have the item shipped to me instead. Pickup was on April 1st, and the email that was sent to me stated that items not received by the close of pickup would ship within 1 week from the date of closing. Based on that, the item should have shipped out by April 11th at the latest if we consider a week to be 7 business days. A week had passed since the 11th and the item still hadn't been delivered. Being courteous to the auctioneer, I decided to wait another week just in case the item might have got delayed in the mail. As someone who also buys and sells online and tends to ship and receive a lot of packages, I do understand that delays can sometimes occur. By April 29th, literally 4 weeks after the auction had ended, I still had not received the item, so I decided to go back on my invoice to see if there was something I may have missed. I also checked my PayPal to see if I had been charged for the item, and sure enough, the charge showed up in my monthly statement. The last thing I did was run a few searches for Mishler Auction Services online, and the reviews I found for them were a bit concerning, but I decided to give this auctioneer the benefit of the doubt and send them an email in regards to my item not received. On May 8th, I sent an email explaining that I had won an item back in March and had gotten notification that I was in fact the winning bidder, but had not received the item or any other information in regards to the transaction. I also provided screenshots showing the charge on my card along with the email and invoice they sent me, but even after 2.5 days, I still hadn't gotten a reply. With no response there, I decided on May 11th to call the number that was provided on the invoice I received, and this time I did get a response. The gentleman I spoke with simply told me to provide my last name and the date of the auction in question. I was also told they would get back to me tomorrow, being May 12th, with what they found out. Well, that date came and went with no response at all. It wasn't until May 18th, almost a week later, that I received this email. The email stated they had found my item and would be shipping it out the same day, and I would receive an email from UPS which would include my tracking information. However, I never received a tracking number or anything from UPS for that matter, and the package just randomly showed up at my doorstep on May 19th. So here the package is, I've finally got the item. You'd think everything was good, right? That couldn't be further from the truth. Upon opening up the package and getting the car out, first thing I find is there's a broken mirror. No big deal, as a little bit of super glue will fix that. It's not until I started looking at the car a little closer that I find other bits are falling off it, and there's even some pieces which are completely missing. I went back on the listing photos, and as you can see, the only issue this car had is a missing windshield wiper. I even have footage of this car when it was still for sale in the hobby shop, and again, the only issue present is what I've already mentioned. The car I have here has a broken mirror, a broken seat, a broken shifter handle, broken bits of the engine, and there's both headlight and taillight covers which are completely missing altogether. None of these issues were present in the listing photos or mentioned in the description, therefore these damages had to have occurred prior to the car being shipped. Now you can probably imagine by this point that I'm very much pissed off, and you're correct. Nothing about this transaction has been positive. To begin with, in total I paid $86.08 for this car, and I don't feel I have that in what's sitting in front of me. The $44 I originally won this item for in auction seemed like a fair price for the condition it was presented in at the time, but with what I have here now, it's not worth anywhere close to that. Furthermore, I had to pay an additional $42.08 for this item because of a 10% buyer's premium, a 3% card fee, $2.90 for tax, a $10 handling fee, and the $22.16 for shipping. Between all that, I damn near paid just as much as I did for the car. Now, I would have thought that considering it took almost 2 months for me to finally get this item shipped to me, that I would have gotten some kind of discount for the inconvenience. Instead, I was still charged the $42.08 in fees on an item that in reality, I did not receive. In addition to that, you cannot tell me no one noticed this car was damaged when they were packing it up to ship. At the end of the day, I guess none of that really matters though, because apparently Mr. Mishler wasn't taking any losses on his end. To put it bluntly, I am in no way happy with this purchase. It has been a complete joke ever since I won the auction. Considering all the trouble I've gone through the last 2 months, I should have just made the 30-minute trip to DuBois and picked up the item at the hobby shop. It still would have been less time and frustration than what I've had to put up with. If I had received the item in the specified time frame, in the condition it was presented in, and didn't have to go through all this trouble, I'd have had no problem paying the $86.08 this item cost me. Instead, I paid out the nose for something that at this point, I'm never going to get. So my final message to you, Mr. Mishler, is this. You've wasted 2 months of my time, taken my money, sent me a broken item, and I'm the one that's stuck on the losing end. I don't know where you feel it's fair to inconvenience me like this and yet still charge your ridiculous fees. This whole ordeal was your screw up, not mine. I wasn't the one who lost this item and forgot to ship it, nor am I the one who damaged it either. I can fully understand those online who have filed complaints against your auction service, and needless to say, I hope my recent criticism makes some noise as well. What you've done here is basically committed highway robbery with this sale. Before I sign off, I'm asking anyone watching this video that if you've had issues with this auction service, leave a comment below and tell your story. I'm sure Mr. Mishler will be reading every one that lands here. As I've mentioned in other consumer affairs videos I've done, I'm not a consumer looking to get something for nothing, but in this case, I've honestly been taken for a ride on this deal. Unfortunately, I rolled the dice on this auction, came out on top, and yet I still lost in the end.